Yes, CoilArt's back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, with their newest tank, and it's called the MAGE RTA version 2. The version 1 was killer, man. I reviewed that, back in 2016. I think that tank was definitely ahead of its time. This one, she sure as hell looks the tits, but the big question, the big answer today is, Rip, how does she vape? Time's gonna tell that one, but the good news is, that time is right now. Yeah, boy, so here's the packaging this MAGE RTA V2 comes in. And inside that packaging, of course, you're going to receive your MAGE RTA V2. Comes with a knurled 510 Delrin drip tip adapter, extra O-rings, 4 extra grub nuts. Comes with an Allen key tool for your side mount grub nuts. Included is a frosted plastic tube. Comes with a user manual. And last but not least, a quality control card. Personally, I've seen 3 different color options for this puppy chucker. You can choose the stainless steel gold with the black and gold drip tip. You can choose black and gold with the black and gold drip tip. Or you can choose the black and the rose gold and black and rose gold drip tip. This bad mamma jam is primarily made of stainless steel, 24mm in width at the base and about 43mm in length. She's got a gold-plated base, also a protruding gold-plated 510 pin. Threads are nice and smooth. Also at the base, she says MAGE, designed by CoilArt. Down here, boys and girls, she's got triple adjustable airflow. You grab hold of this adjustable airflow ring, which is knurled, and it stops in one direction, stops in the other. When you first get this, it's going to be a little bit tight, but as you use it over time, it will break in. Oh yeah, and whatever you adjust on this side is going to be the same all across the board. At the top of this device, it comes with a Delrin and Gold 810 drip tip. Now the gold ring, it does come off if you want. Also it says MAGE, you see that, MAGE, but you could take this gold ring off and pop it on this device. Problem is, without the gold ring, there's going to be a little bit of a gap, so I prefer to keep the ring on there, and I'm good. Here's the drip tip catch cup. You get a nice beefy O-ring, pop this sucker on there, and at first, if this is not juiced up, it's going to raise up a little bit, but once this juices up and you spin it a little bit, you're going to be good to go. Now, there's going to be a little bit of a gap there. Mine has one at least. That may be a con of some of you guys, but I still think it looks pretty good. Grab a hold of the knurling and unscrew the top cap, and boom, you got easy peasy top fill. Look at those big old kidney shaped slots. We've seen this in a lot of RTAs, but it's good to have the option where you could pour your juice in easily and you could squeeze your juice in easily. And with the straight glass tube, she holds 3.5 mils of juice. When you're done filling her up, you just pop top cap back on there. You know the drill. Screw her down and you should be ready to rock and roll. Now with this frosted plastic bubble tube it comes with, it holds 5.5 mils of juice. And of course, here's what she looks like with this frosted plastic tube on there. It's cool they give you the option, but personally, I don't think it looks nearly as good as the glass tube. But yeah, when you have one of those tubes on here, whether it's your straight glass tube or the bubble plastic tube, you just pop that sucker off and there's your chamber / shaft section. Everything is nice and clean, and at the top you have this conical thing going on there to smooth out the airflow and give you more flavor. And here she is, the gold-plated deck section. Very, very, very similar, in my opinion, to the Keelan Mini RTA deck section. You have this half-pipe thing going on, so the airflow is going to be hitting underneath both coils into the side of each coil. You got your side mount hex screws. And of course, you got your wick ports, so your cotton's going to be going into here, and your coil's going to be sitting like this. I'm going to show you in a second, but yeah, your side mount hex screws, they're sitting inside that wick port. So when you screw everything down, everything's going to sit flush, so you can pop your cotton in there. And right here is your positive connection, hence the peak insulator. Right here is the negative connection. And you got your lead slots right here. Oh, right, so here's the dual build that I have in this puppy chucker. It's a dual frame staple build. Let me tell you something, it's not easy to build on this thing, and it's because you got the side mount connections. One, it's a postless deck, and two, you got side mount connections, and the side mount connections make it that much harder to build on. Definitely not meant for the newbies. Here's the distance I like to keep them. You can drop them a little bit, you can raise them a little bit, all that's subjective. And of course, as you guys can see, they've already been blown out. And I like to space my coils, especially when using RTAs. And a lot of people ask me, Rip, why you space your Claptons? And it's because I don't want to have to deal with hot spots. Alrighty, so I got her wicked up, got her juiced up. Now the way that I do it, and the reason why I don't show you guys how to wick stuff anymore, especially RTAs, is because it's all trial and error, and it all depends on the juice that you're using, the cotton that you're using, and I may be using a totally different juice and a totally different cotton than you. So in the past, the way that I showed you how to do it, it just worked for me, but it may have not have worked for you. But I'm using a 70 VG 30 PG juice, and the way that I do it is I slide it tight through the coil and clip it on the thin side on the ends, and I just tuck it in and fill that cup up on each side. It doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. Now it looks like it's going down to the bottom on this end, but it's not. It's just tucked in lightly, but filled up. And again, that cotton is pulled tightly through those coils. Tight through the coils, thinner on the sides. And that's what works for me for the cotton that I'm using, the juice that I'm using for this RTA. But again, that may not work for you. You got to experiment with it. All RTAs are like that. And you can close off that airflow, but to be honest with you, it's not going to make a difference if you don't wick it correctly. Screw the top cap on there. Make sure she's nice and tight. Always want to seal that vacuum up, and then what I'm going to do from there is open up the airflow, and we are ready to rock and roll. First con I found for this device, and this is the biggest con in my opinion, but I do not like the side mount screw connections. Do not like them one bit. And then the last con that I found for this, the gold drip tip ring has a little bit of a gap. definitely being nitpicky, but I'm just pointing it out for you OCD vapors out there. Now on to the pros. How do you like the way this thing looks? I sure do. I like the stainless steel and the gold. That's my favorite one. All this is going to be subjective. First of all, they give you the color options. Second of all, again, the way this thing looks, it looks classy, it looks snazzy, it just looks sick as tits. Love the knurl sections up top and down below. Makes it easier to grip if you want to take the top cap off or if you want to adjust the airflow. Hell, I think the knurl sections makes this thing as far as appearance. And I'm a big fan of the gold accents. Again, this thing looks the tits, man. Like I said before, and I'm going to say it again, the top fill for this device, easy peasy what a sleazy. Easy to pour your juice in, easy to squeeze your juice in. With a straight glass tube mode, it holds 3.5 mils of juice. I think that's a good amount, but the fact that they include this bubble tank, this plastic bubble tank that's frosted, that allows you to hold 5.5 mils of juice, that's another big pro. Also, the threads for this device all across the board are nice, especially for the price point for this puppy chucker. And you gotta admit, the gold-plated deck is snazzy looking, isn't it? Yeah, it's pretty. Also, the fact that you can run this thing in single or dual coil mode, that's another pro. And in my opinion, I think this thing is a cinch to wick. All this is going to be subjective. I just wish the connections were front to back. Airflow for this device all across the board, man. Smooth as a porn star's ass. Here she is wide open. Hear this. No whistle and smooth. Now here she is halfway open. Close her off a little bit more. No whistle, baby, and still smooth. The fact that this comes with a Delrin 510 drip tip adapter, that's a big pro. As far as the flavor for this device, I'm going to talk about it in FaceTime, but it's great. And last but not least, I love my 24mm devices, and that's what this is. So yeah, as you guys saw in the close-ups, the build that I have in this puppy chucker is a dual frame stable. She's reading at 0.15 ohms. I'm only vaping her 60 watts. That's it. 60 watts sitting on this Iron Fist by UL, and I got the airflow about halfway open. That's the way I prefer it for this device. You guys know what time it is. It's rip time. And that 60 watts with a 0.15 ohm build, it is a hot vape. And it's because that chamber is so small and it's so condensed. So yeah, you're going to get a hot ass vape and you're going to get nice flavor. I would say great flavor. If you build it right and wick it right, like I said before, you're going to get great flavor and you're going to get above average vapor. You know, all these devices, I know all of them are going to chuck the tits. I want the flavor. What's the flavor like, Rip? 1 to 10 scale. Let me take another hit for you. Again, airflow halfway open. In my opinion, with this build halfway open, I'm getting the best flavor. But you know what? All this is subjective. My rating is subjective. And I'm always going to point that out. What I may like, you may not. What you may like, I may not. If I were to compare this to something like the Reboot, the Futun Reboot, that Reboot, man, woohoo. For a dual coil RTA, that Reboot chucks more flavor than any other RTA that I've tried to date. And I would rate that device a 9 out of a 10. This compared to that, 7, 7.5. It's good. Definitely above average, in my opinion. But I will state this, the way she's dressed up, man, whoo, way better than the Reboot. Hell, this is the best damn looking RTA so far this year. In stainless steel mode especially. I mean, it looks the tits. That's why a lot of people are gonna buy it. But like I said in the close-ups, oh, this is not meant for the newbie. Seasoned builder. And it's for that builder that does not mind side mount connections. Alright? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, liked it, found it entertaining and helpful. If you did like this video, well, then hit that like button. Let me know that you care and share it for all your friends to see. And if you want to see more of me, then subscribe for more. This is Rip Chippers, and remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.